if there is one human being in the world who I have been desperate to talk to about With Love, Meghan, it is Lady Colin Campbell. Because she is, of course, one of the UK's...
Lady Colin Campbell is back, and she's not holding back any punches this time. She's tearing into Meghan Markle's latest Netflix venture with zero mercy. She's calling it sick-making, tacky, and a complete disaster. What went so wrong with this highly anticipated series that was supposed to be a hit?
Greatest entertainers, and I purposefully, Lady C, have avoided texting you, calling you about this because I want to hear your reaction live. Go. What do you make of it?
Well, Dan, it's been literally, where I'm concerned, sick-making. So, because yesterday I started looking at it perfectly healthily, and then I kept on struggling to stay awake because, and this was in the afternoon, because I had to look at all 8 hours. I mean, talk about a waste of 8 hours of your life. But anyway, I had to, so I started to struggle to stay awake. And then I thought, oh, well, I better, try to do something else. But I forced myself to look at all of it. And in the last 3 or so episodes, I kept on sneezing since when I have come down with the most rotten cold you could imagine. My nose is streaming like a faucet because I totally ignored my body's message, which was escape from that triviality. It was so boring. And pretentious. I mean, I couldn't agree with Variety more. I mean, actually, I don't think there's been one positive review of the show. Meghan is so narcissistic. She is, and like most true narcissists, she's boring because she really expects everybody to worship at her altar as she elevates trivialities, according to her, but she actually sinks them to new depths.
And why is the backlash so fierce and unrelenting? Is it just the content, or is there more to the story? Let's dive deep into the controversy and uncover the reasons behind this explosive reaction. Stay tuned as we get into it.
And, I mean, has the woman actually ever entertained anybody? Has she ever had a house guest? The way she went on and on and on and on and on and on about preparing truffle-flavored popcorn. And I mean, the triviality. I mean, you've stayed with me. You know what is involved with a big house party. I mean, can you imagine if I diverted my time away from the important things that entertaining requiring a good hostess needs to do? She needs to have her priorities straight. It needs to be the people, the conversation, what's of interest. Then you get on to the food and the drink and who's going to be placed with whom. Yeah, I mean, look at it, for instance. Balloons are the end in tackiness. I mean, the woman is so, I hate the word common, but Nikki Haslam and Princess Michael are always using it. And by and large, I don't like it. But I have to say, in this instance, she talks about elevation. She has sunk commonness to new depths. I mean, it's beyond belief. Has she ever really entertained anybody? I mean, the palaver she made out of having Daniel Martin to stay. And also, which person who's genuinely going to be having a television show that is of genuine interest is going to have the hired help as guests? Let's remember, Daniel Martin, and no disrespect to him, but he is he's
on the payroll.
Yeah, he's hired help.
He's the
I mean,
subservient gay best friend, Lady C, and we know what those types are like when they're on the payroll. They're there to say everything you are doing is brilliant and you look beautiful and the Ozempic's working and the Botox is working, and that's why she wants him around. Now, you talk about manners, Lady C. I mean, number one, you're completely right. Going to a Lady C dinner party or an event at Goring Castle Goring is really quite something. But I did not want to be at any of these Meghan parties. It was a miserable experience. You had to stand around. She didn't really look after you. But also, she was just a little bit gross. Look at the moment when her and Daniel start chowing down the pasta.
That's so good. Oh my god.
That was so good. It's your choice of adjectives that I really appreciate.
It's so weird because it's so hearty, but it's not heavy. This is literally cozy.
It's like that Beyonce song.
Yeah.
Cozy. Okay.
And Meghan's mole posted about that, Lady C. I've seen animals have better manners and eating etiquette.
Well, absolutely. But you know what I found horrifying was in one of the later episodes with Roy Choi, when she tastes something with a teaspoon and hands it to one of the cameramen called Brooklyn, and you know, no question of using another teaspoon. I mean, no wonder she thought that Catherine was that there was something wrong with Catherine. If she's busy passing her mouth water to a cameraman and thinks that he should be honored that he's swallowing her saliva along with everything else. No wonder she thought that Catherine was so uppity and off, because Catherine didn't want to share her germs with Meghan. I mean,
Meghan Markle's much-hyped Netflix show has finally dropped, and critics are calling it one of the most tone-deaf productions of the year. Supposed to be inspiring, empowering, and fresh. Instead, it's been labelled shallow, self-obsessed, and painfully scripted.
And, well, indeed, although Meghan used none of these so-called hosting abilities during her time with Catherine. Remember, they were boasting about how the fact that she turned up bare feet, etc., etc. The other thing is that you see, all of these ideas were either crap or just ridiculous. So Quick Cues has gone viral for posting, "I'm so glad Meghan Markle has a new show on Netflix where I can watch her take pretzels out of a labelled bag and put them into a new bag, then label it the People's Martha Stewart." And if you look at this moment, Lady C, that is exactly what happens.
All of our energy into making those. This, we're just gonna put into a different bag. Peanut butter pretzels. I've been eating these forever and I love these so much. My mom does too. I know that Daniel loves peanut butter. I'm still gonna label this. You always want to be conscious if someone has a nut allergy.
I mean, what did you think?
well, Dan, what I would rarely say would sound so snobbish that I dare not say it.
Go on. We forgive you already.
You're encouraging me to be bad.
Always.
No, it's an 18-year-old servant girl on her first job who's cutting corners and expecting credit where none is due. And except she's doing it as a 40-something-year-old woman. And it's everything is so pretentious. You know, the labeling of things, whoever heard of people are supposed to, civilized people are supposed to know what they're eating. They don't have to be told. They don't have to be educated. I mean, everybody knows what a pretzel is. But also, did you notice that she's often barefooted in
Yes.
the scene? She's often barefooted. I think she missed on every single turn. I don't think there was one turn that I thought, oh, she's done something that's right or elegant. She is a study in inelegance and pretentiousness, passing itself off. I would imagine the only people who would regard her as worthy of being emulated would be people who are so totally oh, look at that. I mean, who ever heard of ice cubes with flowers in them?
You didn't like that?
What?
You didn't like that idea? You're not going to be trying that out at your next party at Castle Goring?
Well, darling, you know as well as I do that the beauty of elegance is to know when to be plain and when to be simple and when to be grand and jazzy. And you'd certainly, I mean, if any house I had ever been into in my 75 years had handed me a glass with an ice cube with a flower in the middle of it, I would have been absolutely horrified. And that is the end in lack of elegance. She doesn't understand the difference between pretentiousness and elegance. She thinks if it's pretentious, it's elegant. She just doesn't understand it. And she was perfectly, when she was in the royal family, and living over here, she went to great lengths to antagonize and alienate Harry's friends and Harry's relations. And I can see why partly she did it, because she is such an inadequate. And she knows on some level she's an inadequate, but she wants to be regarded as somebody who is a superior being.
Viewers were expecting a groundbreaking narrative that would shed light on important issues and offer a unique perspective. However, the show has been criticized for its lack of depth and authenticity, leaving many disappointed.
But you can't be a superior being if you have inferior knowledge. And I mean, I suppose this is supposed to be a lifestyle program, but she doesn't teach people how to cook. She doesn't teach people how to do anything. I mean, nothing meaningful that a hostess would do. And I think it's supposed to be about entertaining, but it's all about what the hired help would do. And then she's acting as if the hostess should be doing that. I mean, you delegate, but I just can't. Okay, it's pretty, but I mean, if you have a member of your staff doing that, fine. But you'd have to have all the time in the world and be totally idle to want to do that yourself. And I mean, as for those balloons, I mean, give me a break. I mean, talk about inelegant,
These were the pictures she chose to post on Instagram overnight, her favourites from the series. And Lady C, the first reviews are in. As you rightly point out, even the likes of Variety, even her woke Hollywood friends are saying this is utterly dire. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 33% rating from the critics, but crucially, just 12% from viewers. You'll see the front page of the British newspapers today absolutely slamming the series, quite rightly. However, let's bring in the propagandist, Chris Shipp, the royal editor for ITV News. He says the TV critics might have given it mixed reviews. No, they weren't mixed, Chris. They were universally terrible, and you're a journalist that is meant to report the facts. So why are you saying they're mixed reviews? They were dire reviews. I know she's your friend. I know she's Tom Bradby's friend, but you've got to be honest. However, he then went on to say, but the Duchess of Sussex's series With Love, Meghan is currently rated at number 6 in Netflix UK's most watched shows. And this does seem to be part of the trend towards hate watching, which the Daily Mail has spoken about as a phenomenon. However, Lady C, I did find one positive review. I found one positive review in the entire world, and I found it on X. And guess who it was from? Britain's race baiter-in-chief, Dr. Scholler. So let me read what she had to say, Lady C, and then I'd love you to respond to her points. So she writes, wholesome, down-to-earth, unpretentious, fun-loving realness. Everything the royal family isn't. Meghan Markle is a natural and shines through. You don't have to like her to like the show, and you don't have to like the show because you like her. But if you're bitching about the show just because it's Meghan, you're petty and vindictive, and thanks for binge watching it. Lady C, your response to Dr. Scholler.
Well, I'm obviously a racist because I thought that it was dire, and I thought that Meghan had nothing to teach anybody, that what she was making much ado about was what you would have told your new maid to get through to cut all corners so that you could get onto the important things. Meghan has elevated trivia to a level that would actually preclude the possibility, without loads of staff who are busy doing actually all of the preparations, to actually produce anything. Because let's not forget, Meghan hasn't produced all of this. This has been produced by people behind the scenes. She's just stepped in, and for Shola to be saying that it's not pretentious, I mean, it's the end in pretentiousness. And Shola ought to know better than that, because isn't she the daughter of a Nigerian prince and a multimillionaire? And so she'd be well used to staff.
The anticipation was high, but the execution seems to have missed the mark entirely. Audiences expected substance and authenticity. What they got was glossy filters, recycled talking points, and more victimhood narratives. But no one went harder than Lady C.
Very good point. Very good point, Lady C. Now, there was a lot of speculation yesterday over whether Meghan is telling the truth about the fact that she is now no longer Meghan Markle. She is Meghan Sussex. And this was, I think, one of the most fascinating episodes in the series for all the wrong reasons, because Mindy Kaling, who's the most famous person Meghan was able to get to show up, was doing her damnedest to appease Meghan, to be nice to Meghan, to tell Meghan she was beautiful. Look at the look that Mindy shoots her when Meghan slaps her down for calling her Meghan Markle. Watch this.
Meghan, I want to ask about your look.
My who?
Your look. Your look, Meghan.
Oh, my Luke.
Your look. Did I not say it right?
I don't know. I mean, like, you're way cooler than I am. I don't know what you're talking. My Luke. My
Yes.
look. She likes my Luke.
Your look.
Oh my gosh.
Your fashion is like one of my favorite things.
Well, that was actually a different moment, Lady C, but
No, but
equally
let's speak about
appalling.
that. Let's speak about that, because I think it's absolutely appalling. Again, it shows that Meghan not only has no manners and no humanity, but she is an appalling hostess, because you do not correct your guests unless, of course, if it were a situation with somebody who's very well known to you and they're a foreigner and they said something that they would want you to correct. But you certainly don't embarrass somebody because because remember, Mindy Kaling or Colin, whatever her name is Indian, and so how dare Meghan be making fun of her accent? I mean, it's the absolute end in poor form under any circumstances, and to do it as a hostess shows a total lack of breeding and consideration and heart. I was appalled when she did it, and I was even more appalled that Meghan is so out of touch with the realities of life that she, as the executive producer, would have allowed this to remain in, because that is something that should have been cut immediately.
And it makes her look terrible. it makes her look terrible. And what's so funny, Lady C, is that, as you point out, if it was a white person doing it, Meghan would be the first to be saying that's racist. But I think Meghan has a real problem with Mindy Kaling. I mean, she admitted that they weren't actually real friends. They'd only met once before to film the Archetypes podcast and then had become pen pals. And again, why on earth did she leave in this scene where you see the real Meghan, the bully Meghan, come to the fore when Mindy Kaling calls her Meghan Markle? And it's very clear there's nothing funny about it in her head, is there, Lady C? She's furious.
What did you think of Meghan's Netflix show? Did it live up to the hype, or did it fall short of your expectations? Was Lady C too harsh or spot on with her critique? Do you think she was fair in her assessment, or did she go overboard? Drop your take in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this hot topic. Hit that like button if you agree with the clapback, and show your support for candid discussions. And don't forget to subscribe for more unfiltered royal commentary every week. Stay tuned for more insights and debates.